beautiful people. Welcome back for another episode of Embrace You Hot Topics in Weight Loss. I'm your host, Dr. Sylvia Gonsimboli, your integrative obesity specialist. And I am super happy to be here, founder of Embrace You Weight and Wellness, best-selling author of the book by the same name. And you know what I do? I'm here to be your resource to transform this whole conversation about weight loss, about your health, your metabolic health, from one size fits all to helping you figure out what really works for you. And so this is your safe space in Embrace You world where you can ask your questions from a dual board certified expert. No shame, no judgment, no guilt. And we're not only going to talk about the facts, but we're also going to talk about the feelings, right? Because it's not just about the physical stuff. You know, I'm a science nerd. I love all that stuff, but it's also about the emotional and even the spiritual as well. So let me know where you're checking in from. I'm in the DC metro area. If you're here, it's wet, it's rainy. I don't know. When I saw it, I was kind of thinking of this song, Summer Rain Makes Me Think. Wait, but I was like, but it's not summer, it's spring. I was like, maybe Carl will let me remix it a little bit. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. How's the weather? Where are you checking in from? Oh, Greensboro. Yes, very nice. Is it nice and sunny there, or is it rainy there too, like it is up here? Okay, North Carolina, I was just there last week. Yes, one of my favorite cities. I got to catch two shows. I got to Lion King and Hamilton Goals. It was so much fun. And I was there actually for the Obesity Medicine Association. I gave 3 talks. One on my favorite topic, going beyond BMI. How do we individualize people's health goals and their weight goals? So not putting everybody in the same bucket. And then I also gave another talk about foundations of starting your own obesity practice. And it was just good. People are really receptive, y'all. So we are changing the way people think about this whole topic, especially for Black people, especially for Black women, that we can't just go after it trying to get everyone to lose weight the same way. All right, but I totally digress. Ooh, and I'm so happy that it's sunny. That's good. That makes me feel like some sun may be coming up our way soon. So today I have a interesting topic. I think it's a big hot topic because every day I'm getting questions on this. And actually, back in October, before everyone's like checking for it, I wrote an article for Medscape, said, are weight loss medications for thinness or for health? And just sharing some of my thoughts on it. Like, you know, we need to get the record straight about these medicines because we're getting more and more powerful medications to help people lose weight, but they're also getting into the hands of people misusing them, either just for cosmetic reasons. And again, no shame, you got to feel good about yourself, but it's missing the hands of the people who really need them for health reasons as well. And who does that tend to affect? Us as Black people. But I totally digress. So that's part of why this topic, and people are always asking me questions about these new meds that are on the market. They're really not that new, but they're out there. Everyone's using them. So Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, some of these, they're not even right now technically approved for obesity or for metabolic weight loss, but they're being used that way. So I, of course, wanted to have this open space where we could talk about it. I want you in the comments. I want to know who I'm talking to, like where you are on the spectrum. So I want you to just tell me really quick in the chat, yes or no, or never, if you are considering or using medications for weight loss. You could say yes, no, maybe. You could say a friend. Like, I just want to know where, and if you have specific questions, put them in the chat because I'm going to carry this conversation a bit. But again, this is Embrace You World. I'm not really here for myself to show y'all how smart I am. I'm here to make sure that you're getting the information that you need on this topic. So just to set the stage a little bit. So technically, so people call all these medications weight loss medications, but they're really for more than weight loss. They're technically called anti-obesity medications, or ARMs. I really don't really like the term anti-obesity, but we got to use the lingo that the FDA uses so that people know what we're talking about. Okay. So, but it also is helpful because that puts the stage that we're treating a medical condition. So obesity is a complex medical disease where the body stores excess or harmful levels of body fat or adiposity that causes inflammation, insulin resistance, and it's associated with over 200 diseases. Okay, y'all. So a lot of these diseases that we see commonly, which are like a symptom of this underlying condition. So whether that be diabetes, most commonly, insulin resistance, hypertension, high cholesterol, even some of the certain cancers as well are associated with this. So it's really not just a thing about looks or cosmetics. This is really like when you are above that threshold of where your body fat is helpful. And some body fat is helpful. Somebody that is helpful, but having too much of it, we know can lead to other problems. So it can be right around, it can cause problems where you're either have more fat around your vital organs, like around your liver, around your intestines, so different things around your heart. It could also have problems where the fat, it's a very active hormonal organ, right? So where it's putting out signals to your body, like I mentioned, that's causing joint pain, that's causing you to have higher cholesterol levels, that's causing you to have higher insulin levels, that's causing infertility, causing all type of issues. So this is why it's important to find effective treatment for it. And so that's why we're going to talk about it today. So today I'm going to cover three main things, and I see your questions here. Thanks. And thanks for everybody who's responding here. I love it. Again, let me know where you are, what you're thinking about. I'm going to personalize this talk and make sure I hit on things that y'all need, not just what I want to talk about. So I wanted to just set the stage by letting you know three main important facts, right? Like when it comes to how your body regulates fat, it's more than just calories in versus calories out. Like I came of age, I'm an 80s baby, came of age in the 90s and the 2000s, right? Everybody, we were doing points and calories and calorie counting. I can tell you the calorie, like, look, y'all can name something in the chat. I bet you I can tell you how many calories is in it off the bat. I've been a calorie counter. I was a calorie counter from age 15 to like age 32. So I know my calories, but I want to tell you that it's more than just calories in versus calories out. So that's the first thing that I want you to know when it comes to that. And because of that, we need more tools. Then when we are looking at medications as a tool, it's not one size fits all. So all these like programs and look, I see I'm in these internet streets, so I see what y'all see. I'll get these pop-ups where somebody's selling some compounded something, and it's like you just type in your name and your credit card and you get it. Be careful. Medication isn't one size fits all, and there's side effects with it. So we're going to talk about that. And last but not least, there are different types. And so I'm going to let you kind of see like how I think about it as an obesity expert when I'm thinking about how do I select? What do I put it on? How do I personalize this to the individual? So that can also help you as well. Because I see here in the chat, I see Sheila, thanks for responding, said you used medication in the past and was taking Ozempic till the insurance denied coverage. Girl, this is another big thing that we're working on. Many of the larger organizations trying to get coverage. There's something in Congress now called the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act. I'll probably drop the link here so y'all can sign that, and that will let the House of Representatives know that people want these medications covered, and that's what we're working on. And then Carla says, considering medications due to health concerns. No, I know what to do, but mentally I don't do it. All right, Eugenia, that's a good point. And I'm going to talk about how we can integrate lifestyle with medications if you need it, because actually that's the time when you may need it. So, all right. So anyone else checking in, have thoughts on medication, have questions on medications, drop them as we go through. Let me head back to the first point, and I'm going to hit everything we talked about. So Mr. Ellis is my man behind the camera. He's going to put up some graphics as we go through, because I really want you all to think about this too. So when I say that it's more than calories in versus calories out, y'all have probably heard me talk about weight gain triggers, or the official medical way of saying it's obesogenic factors, right? Basically, these are just things that are going to send signals to your body to tell it to store extra fat. Now follow me, because because, rather than just give a medication, we need to know why we're doing it, what we're trying to treat. And so it's important to know that for when you have a lot of factors going on in your life that are causing your body to store extra fat, it's going to take different types of treatment to deal with that, right? It's like if you're trying to put out a fire, let's roll with me. If you're trying to put out a fire, if it's a small fire, you probably can use just like a little cup of water, right? But if it's a big fire, like you got a lot of fuel going into it and a lot of things that are causing it to rage, you're going to need to bring the fire truck and the big hose. And that's kind of what we need to think about when we're approaching our weight and wellness goals, right? So I'm a big believer. So there's something called like the obesity treatment pyramid. It started, Angela Fitch proposed this. So she's a professor out in Harvard. So yes, thank you, Mr. Ellis. It's up here. I also wrote a blog post and I put all this stuff that I'm talking about in there. So if y'all want to go study afterwards, my other fellow nerds, okay, you can go do that. So the obesity treatment pyramid. So I see a lot of people out in these streets, and this happened to me too, where there's, instead of weight loss, we're talking about wellness now. I want to be clear. Body, mind, spirit wellness is the foundation of any positive lifestyle change. We need to make sure that we are aligned and we're centered. But when it comes to actually losing a significant amount of weight, if you go back to that chart, it's only going to give you 0 to 3% expected weight loss, and that's within 3 to 12 months, right? So maybe if you're like changing your lifestyle a little bit, aligning, then your body will naturally release some weight. But I want to remind you that the body's default is to store fat. It wants to hold on to its fat. And people don't say that in these streets. So it's really not natural, so to speak, for your body to want to give up the fat. So you have to, when you're losing weight, your body, you need to make sure that you're sending the right signals to let it know that it's supposed to be losing weight. If not, losing weight is perceived as a threat to the body. So we have to keep that in mind. So the next thing is lifestyle modification or lifestyle changes. And this is where people say, so like Eugene's like, no, I know what to do, but mentally I don't want to do it. Like, I feel you. I have been there. So if you're new to this or you haven't read my book, then you won't know that how I even got into this whole field is that I gained 60 pounds when when I got pregnant with my son. That was about 10 years ago. I gained 60 pounds and I had preeclampsia. I held on to 40 of that after I had him, till he was no longer a baby, but I was still carrying baby weight, right? Because of a combination of stress, sleep deprivation, people pleasing, perfectionism, and my drug of choice is cheap pizza. Okay. So I held on to that for about 40 years, I held on to that 40 pounds for 2 years. And then I needed to make a change. And calorie counting wasn't working anymore because my metabolism had completely changed. So I made two big changes. One, mindset, right? I had to love myself and get rid of all that negative self-talk that I had developed from years of dieting. Okay, that's cool, right? That's the body, mind, spirit wellness part. But then I had to start making some lifestyle changes. But what do you do? So that's when I learned about the science of obesity medicine, got boarded, became an expert, all that good stuff. But I want to tell you, it's not just those small changes. So people are like, oh, go for a walk 30 minutes a day. Okay, that's going to keep your weight even if you just go for a walk 5 days a week, about 150 minutes a week. So if you really want to lose weight with exercise, we're looking more at like 300 to 450 minutes a week. And even for people who have maintained, that's about how long they did. So for me, my medication or metabolic adaptation was working out, right? I became a runner. I've run now over 5,500 miles. I'm training for my second marathon. And, and that's cool. And I'm grateful because I also realized that it helps my stress level and it helps me stay motivated to eat clean and to eat healthier when I'm moving because food is fuel for running. But what I'm trying to say is that was like a total transformation. Like y'all, I pulled a whole Beyonce. Like I released my job, released the stress. Like I did all of that. Like I released a whole bunch of stuff. Like because I had to make that total transformation, and so that's what got the 40 pounds off and kept it off. So, but for most people who are making smaller changes, the average amount of weight loss with just those smaller kind of modifications, it's 2 to 5% of weight loss. So let's put this in numbers because I know most people don't think like that. So if you're 200 pounds and let's say, you exercise 150 minutes a week, you try to cut down your amount of intake, you're going to eat mostly vegetables, mostly fruits. If you're a calorie counter, you're going to go to about 1200 to 1500 calories a day. I don't recommend calories, but I'm going to give you all the facts from the data. Or if you're a carb or one that's monitoring carbs, then you're going to go to about 100 to 150 grams of carbs a day. So if you're doing these, this is what we call in the lifestyle modification. If you're doing those, plus watching your stress in community with people you like, non-toxic people, the expected is going to be about 2 to 5%. So for a 200-pound person, that's going to be what? Are y'all following me, my math people? So 2% of 200 pounds is going to be what? 4 pounds, okay? And then 5% if of that 200 pounds is going to be closer to like about 8 pounds of weight loss, 8 or 10 pounds. So see, so if you have like a 30-pound weight loss goal, for most people, only making those small changes is not going to be enough. And so that's when you got to go up that pyramid and then look at, okay, do I need what we call prescriptive nutrition intervention? So that's usually going to be where you have like a meal replacement, like one of those, and not just the ones you get over the counter, but like a prescribed one that has the right nutrient balances and everything like that. And then that's going to get you to about 5 to 10% weight loss. So now we're getting up to about 20 pounds if you're 200 pounds. Okay. But the next step would be medications. So medications, we have a lot of new things on the market because let's say to the point that Eugene, I keep going back to because this is so cute. Like if you have a lot going on in your life, like you can't release your job and you spend 60 hours a week, 40 to 60 hours a week at your job, and your job is the main stressor, the main influence, the main trigger for your emotional eating, for your high stress levels, for you not being able to exercise. Like you have a big trigger that you can't change, then it may be really important to have more tools. And medication is just a tool to help you on your weight loss journey. So this is where medications are going to help with the underlying hormonal causes of you gaining weight. So the underlying hormonal causes, now we now know there's lots of hormones. So insulin resistance, there's leptin, which causes your appetite. There's ghrelin, which also increases your hunger. So there's lots of different hormones that are at play here. And the stress hormone cortisol can impact and influence all of those. So this is where medications may be helpful for you because especially if you're kind of stuck in that cycle where you're like, yeah, I know what to do, but I just can't. Sure, get the accountability. This is where you need probably you need a coach or a physician. You need someone on your team to help you, to really help you with the motivation and figure out what those barriers are. But you may also need another tool of medication. And I know how our people are. Look, I'm black. I'm gonna pull my black card, right? Like I know how we are when it comes to meds. Like it's like, no, I want to do this naturally, right? But remember, I told you naturally your body wants to hold on to fat. And especially again, if you're in a state where you're giving your body signals that it's a threat to lose weight or that it doesn't have a knot. So you need to really So you need to really make sure that you are getting giving your body the right signals, and medication is one of the things that can help tip that balance and give your body the signal that it's safe and it's okay to lose the weight. So let's talk a little bit about the medications. Okay, so what are some of the meds that are on the market? Y'all type it in. So I had Ozempic as one. So yeah, so I'll start there. But y'all type in any questions, anything you've heard, any rumors, no shame. Remember, I said no judgment zone. This is your safe space to ask. I will answer them with all my expertise, okay? Like with the my doctor hat, with my coach hat, with my having lost 40 pounds and kept it off for 8 years hat. So I'll be real with you. So you be real with me and put them here. And then that way we can help, I can help you get that clarity around this situation. So with the Ozempic, okay, great. Mary said, "How does menopause play a factor?" And so I'll talk about that too. So with the Ozempic, it is what we call a GLP-1. So the generic medication is called semaglutide. So semaglutide is what part of this whole family called incretins. Incretins. I want you to think about like in the brain eating. I don't know. That's how I'm going to think about it. But that's really where it works. It works on the gut and it works on the brain, and it helps you to feel more full. It helps you to feel more satisfied because it's working on these hormones, like I mentioned, like ghrelin, grr, hungry, the leptin, leave it on the plate. So like it's working on the hormones, and it also slows the rate that food comes out of the stomach. And so there's semaglutide. There's a newer one, tirzepatide, that is a combination of the incretins of a GLP-1 plus another form called a GIP or GDP. So I'm giving y'all all the scientific stuff behind it, but just letting you know that it mimics these natural hormones in the body. So it's actually giving you it's working with your body's natural kind of hormonal signals to help with the fullness, because we know part of the signals that happen when you have that extra body fat from obesity during those times, that is going to cause you to to these hormones not to work as well. So it's helping with that. Now, Mary asked a great question. She asked about like how does menopause play a factor? So during menopause, and I'll make sure I share with y'all. I just did a interview just on this topic for with the Wall Street Journal about menopause and weight loss. So what happens in menopause? We know that estrogen decreases, and that estrogen decreases, and when it decreases, that is also going to shift your body to hold on into more fat and build less muscle. The other thing is that your body has less your body decreases the amount, something called sex binding hormone globin, so your body has more testosterone circulating. And let me tell y'all what testosterone does. Okay, so testosterone, no shade to the men, but you know what happens to, like, think about a middle-aged man, right? What happens to they're swole like this, like when they're younger, and then it just drops, right? And it becomes like that central adiposity or that central belly fat. So testosterone is kind of the signal that's telling your body to get more belly fat. So during menopause, that's what's going on. And we know that during menopause, actually going back to kind of like the BMI, and that women who are going through menopause will have more body fat. So actually the threshold for diagnosing obesity or for screening for it is lower. So, ooh, that felt like shade. I know. It's not shade, but I wanted it to be clear, because to know that that shift in estrogen to increase testosterone is causing more central body fat. And then that central body fat is also going to play into this whole cycle I've been talking about with the insulin resistance and your body having more fat around its vital organs. And so that's why sometimes, especially during menopause, again, when I'm talking about these weight gain triggers, like you're doing everything you can, like you're exercising, you're eating the same way you always ate, like clean, lean, and healthy. And it's like the weight is just stacking up, but your body's sending signals to that it's in a state to store more fat, and that's when medications can be a tool during this time especially too. And so I hope that answers. Let me know, Mary, if you have any more questions about that in there, but that's a great question. Now Mario said, can you speak on the benefits of Trulicity and how long shall a person stay on it after their A1C levels are regulated? Ooh, Mario, good question. So, and that can actually move us along to the third point, because this is a big reason why people don't want to be on medication, right? It's like, how long am I going to be on this stuff, right? Like, is it forever? And that is a great point. So Trulicity, or dulaglutide, is one of the OGs in this whole class of incretins or GLP-1 agonists. It came a while ago, so if you're not familiar, it's like a weekly injection. Initially it was started, it's FDA approved for the treatment of diabetes and not for obesity, not for weight loss. But those of us who, before we had all this fancy stuff like Ozempic or Wegovy, we were using Trulicity off label because we recognized the weight loss benefits of it back then. So the thing about it is with Trulicity, so the answer is, how long do you stay on it? That is a tough question. So, what we will do in practice, this is where the studies are going, because what we know for like some of the newer medications, at least plan to be on a medication for at least a year. That's the first thing I want to say. Okay. And then once your A1C is done, and now I'm not talking about like big trials. I'm going to just share with you what we kind of do in practice and how I approach it. Once your A1C has been regulated past that year, and it's been about 3 months on it, off of it, then we can do a trial to see how you're doing off of it. Now that trial, this is where I see people asking about lifestyle and everything. And remember that pyramid I showed you about the lifestyle. While you're on medication, this is a time, like, it's kind of buying you time in a way to optimize your lifestyle factors, to make sure that all those triggers are well controlled, right? So what I will do is then I'll say, okay, we can see if we taper off the medicine. It should not be stopped cold turkey. That's another mistake I see. So tapering off the medicine, give you 3 months of seeing, with you optimizing your lifestyle, your eating. So for, if you're a person with diabetes, which I presume with Trulicity, that you're following a reduced carbohydrate eating plan, that you're physically active, getting at least 150 minutes a week, keeping that stress level down, minimizing sugary drinks, all of those other sources, things like that. So if you're doing all of that, then we can see if the A1C is regulated, because we can reverse type 2 diabetes in particular for most people early on in their disease, like in the first 10 years. We can reverse it with lifestyle, with eating changes. Now, the problem comes if you've had it for an extended amount of time and the pancreas is no longer working as effectively as it should, then you may need to be on it longer. But I think the main thing I would say is going to depend person to person. Plan to be on it for at least a year. Once the A1C is regulated, probably 3 to 6 months bridging off the medication, and then a trial of at least 3 months and making sure. But remember, your medicine is a tool that is working collaboratively with your body, right? You're not cheating. I want to get this out there. Like, you're not cheating taking a medicine. You are working collaboratively with your body so that you can actually help it to do what it's supposed to do and send the right signals to your body. So I hope that helps you, Mario. And then I have a couple of questions here. So I'm going to go ahead and answer these questions, and then we'll close with our mindset, because again, I had a plan. Like, y'all can check out my blog post. It has everything, like a lot of details in there, but I did really want this to kind of be more of a Q&A, because there's just so many rumors in these streets. There's some rumors in these streets. There's some rumors. Okay, too much. I'm on live TV, but there's so many rumors in the streets around these medications and what people are doing. Ask me, y'all, so y'all not in here doing craziness. I just see people doing so many things. So Cole asks, how can you, hey Cole, this is my cousin, how can you incorporate healthy diet with busy schedules? I'm a morning eating person and not a night person and just go to sleep. Okay, I'm not a morning person and just eat at night and go to sleep. Okay, so look, this is where I'm gonna plug my book. I done written a whole book about this. Okay, like this is the whole point of the book because this is my life. This is what I had to deal with. This as a busy person. How do you fit into your schedule? I would say the first and foremost, the thing is, if you're eating a lot at night, night eating is a big. So this actually ties into the whole medication conversation. Night eating is one of those big things that can cause people to not lose weight as quickly as they should. And usually, when I see people eating a lot, a busy person eating a lot at night, that means in the daytime, they're so busy, they're ignoring their hunger signals that by the time you actually pause and sit down, then your body is like ravenous because it's like, man, you have ignored my hunger all day and you have not fed me. And so what ends up happening is then you end up having a huge like energy load at night, and your body is going to store all that extra energy as fat because that's the easiest thing for it to store it as. So what I would say for that person that's having a lot of night eating is really setting a few breaks in the day to do self check-ins. So, usually that would be at like noon, at 3, and really asking yourself, hey, have you gone to the bathroom? Have you drank your water? Right? I haven't even had a chance to drink my water, all this talking. Have you drank your water? Are you hungry? Is your body, pause for 5 minutes, is your body sending you signals that you're hungry? Like, are you, your stomach growling, you have a lightheaded, your headache, and make time to eat so that you're not waiting till the end of the day to eat. So that's what part of where I would start very simply for a busy person is having those pauses built into your day to do that self check-in and make sure that you are that you're nourishing yourself throughout the day. So it's not like at 9, 10 o'clock that you're finally like, oh, you checked in and now you're starving and eating at a time that's really not going to work with your metabolism because your body needs at least 12 hours of a break to reset all these hormones for weight loss that we talked about. And that's really important, whether or not you're on a medication. All right, cool. So thank you for that question. Okay, Carla says, how can you increase your estrogen levels? What's the best way to lose weight if you're not on a medication and have a busy schedule? All right. Estrogen levels, now that's a little bit complicated, right? Because it's going to depend on what signal. So I'm going to piggyback back on the menopausal part because I figured that's what you're talking about. And honestly, outside of there are hormone replacements, right? That is the most common thing. But I want to be clear when it comes to weight loss, right now, it's not indicated to take estrogen or hormones for weight loss. I know people do it off label all the time, but you got to weigh the risk versus benefits because there are studies that show there's some risk, particularly for heart disease with taking estrogen. So you need to be careful with that and make sure you're working with a professional for it. During menopause, and again with the weight loss, we want to talk about paying attention to the quality of the food that you're taking in. So really, this is a time where you cannot eat like you a teenager anymore. All that processed food, junk food, stuff like that is just going to hit different in the postmenopausal body because those estrogen levels are lower. And then making sure that you're getting the resistance movement in is really important too. And so what's the best way to lose weight if you're not on a medication and have a busy schedule? Making time for you. Making time for you. And I know that's what the thing to say. So what I would do and what I do in my schedule is have a very controlled kind of eating plan. I use and you can text me offline, my preference of clean, organic, delicious meal replacement bars. So when I'm really busy, I have to pay attention to my food in particular. So I use meal replacement bars. I use protein shakes, like going up that pyramid. I do that. And so going up that pyramid, I go to the prescriptive nutrition interventions. And so I do that to keep it clean and lean and with the food. So I would pay attention to food if you're super busy, and then trying to get movement in where you can, because not that the movement that you do is really going to lead to a lot of weight loss unless you're hitting, that hit high intensity exercise. But doing it more for the stress reduction. And again, a great resource I recommend for it. And yes, I'm unashamedly biased because I love my book. It's my book. Okay. So pick it up because it's written for the busy person and follow along. But I would focus on food. Okay. Food is medicine. Movement is medicine. So if you're busy, that's where you want to start and pay attention to it. And you're welcome, Co. Yeah. And so I see a ton of people getting Ozempic for rapid weight loss. I don't take them, but was curious for others who talk or question that way of weight loss. Yeah. So we need to be careful, right, with all this rapid weight loss. So again, healthy weight loss is losing 4 to 8 pounds per month. All right. So that's where we need to go for it. And y'all, how can I say this? Look, this completely off filter, off script. I know, like, Mr. Ellis is back there, like, what is this chick doing? But I told you, this show's not for me, it's for y'all today. Okay. So this is Embrace You show. Fast doesn't always last, and fast is not always best, right? Our goal, yes, we have played this game, and I've been in the weight loss game my whole life, really, since the first time I wrote a calorie down in my journal. I got it documented from 15, right? From age 15. So these things, they come and go. Like, they come and go. They come and go. These weight loss pills come and go. And we've seen so many people with the rapid weight loss that does not last. And when we do that, it sends signals to your body that the next time is going to be harder. So again, as an obesity specialist, I see people who at minimum have lost and regained 4 times, and that now by the time they come to me, is so resistant to lose it. So I want to just say to the people who are using it, and you want to get that summer bod real quick, no shade, no shame, but just be aware of the possible metabolic consequences that are happening with your body if you do not have a plan in place to keep the weight off. Right? It's not just about losing it, but it's about keeping it off and making sure your body has the right signals to keep the weight off. Also, all weight loss is not equal. This was another thing we talked about at the conference a lot last year. So with this rapid weight loss that's going on with these weight loss medications, not last year, but just last week, but is that you're losing muscle mass. Like, you're not just losing fat. Like, the goal of weight loss, and I really want to change this conversation about weight loss, right? It's not all body weight. Body weight has 3 components. We've talked about it here. It's in the book. I won't go into it. I know we're running out of time, but like, body weight has different components. So it is water first. We're mostly made of water. Then it is body fat. And then it's muscle. Okay. So when we lose weight, we're first losing it in water, then we're losing it in muscle. We're losing our muscle, y'all. And when you lose your muscle, it slows your metabolism. So these people losing weight really rapidly without guidance of how to keep your muscle and how to keep your metabolism is actually like chasing your tail. So that's the other point I want to put out there. And I appreciate you asking that question, Bridget. So again, no shame. I'm excited about these medications. I'm talking about it on BDO because as we move to the mindset shift, follow me, Mr. Ellis. So as we move to the mindset shift, I want to say that I'm talking about this here on BDO because I'm passionate about the fact that these newer medications are game changers. They're going to be life-saving for people who have been affected by a really complicated disease that is difficult to treat, which is obesity, right? So, and currently, only 2% of people who could benefit from medications to treat obesity receive prescriptions. And as you can imagine, those stats are even worse for Black people, even though we have the highest rates of the disease of obesity. So, 49% of Black non Hispanic people. 57% of African American or Black women. Right now, we can debate on how that's diagnosed if we're using BMI data. But regardless of the fact, let's take this away from big data, away from the statistics, and bring it to an individual level, right? Embrace you, not embrace everybody. Embrace you. So, on an individual level, what is going on in your lifestyle, regardless of what the scale says, whether you're on the lean side, whether you're on the smaller side or the larger side, how is your living? Okay. Are you living a healthy life with body, mind, spirit alignment where you're nourishing your bodies with food, with the right water, with the right beverages? Are you in a positive mindset? Do you have community that loves and nourish you? Are you putting up with foolishness? Are you working a job you hate? Like, make sure your wellness is in alignment. But then the next thing, if you're struggling and you've been struggling and you're doing everything, you're exercising, you're trying, you're eating well, you've done everything that doctors told you, maybe it's time to help your body by getting a medication. And medicines are not cheating. So, our mindset shift today, all that to say is taking a medication is not cheating, because I've talked to so many of my people struggle, 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 struggle. And I'm here to relieve you of that. It does, like, we don't have to fight. We all our life we had to fight, right? This is one place where we're going to collaborate with our bodies. So, taking a medication to improve your health, yes, and obesity care is part of your health, isn't cheating. It's treating the right cause so that your lifestyle changes work better. We are enhancing your lifestyle changes. They're fundamental, they have to be there. So, I want you to release that taking a medication is cheating and embrace that medication is a tool to help you on your weight loss journey. And that's my mindset shift. So, I want to thank y'all so much for your questions, for your engagement. I hope that you will continue to ask the questions even after this show's over. Share this with your friends. Y'all, that is why Embrace You is here. Yes, weight loss, obesity care, healthcare is not one size fits all. All right. We have to stop treating everybody like they're one and the same, putting everyone on the same drugs, approaching it the same way, and really just remember that, that exercise, food, stress relief, sleep, we didn't even talk about this, they're also medication for the body. And so, whether or not you use the medication as a tool, changing your habits and lifestyles is essential for lasting success. And we talked about some of those things. Make time for yourself. Make time for yourself, because you can't be too, if you're too busy for you, then nothing you're doing is worth that. All right, beautiful people. Thank you for hanging out with me for a few extra a few extra minutes. It's been so wonderful to see you again. I'm Dr. Sylvia Boley. I am your dual board certified integrative bariatrician specializing in personalized body, mind, spirit wellness, founder of Embrace You Weight and Wellness, author of the best-selling book by the same name, and right here every other Friday on blackdoctor.org with Embrace You Hot Topics in Weight Loss. And this show is made for you. So, do share with me your hot topics and check out the blog post that I wrote on this. I got all the juice in there and I want to hear your questions. All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much, Carla. Have a great day. Thank you, Cole, Mary, Bridget. Yes, Debbie. Thank y'all for checking in. Enjoy it. Look, Ellis, you got to go because I'm feeling the urge to start singing Spring Rain again. Spring Rain. I'm going to make